Good morning to all on frequency. This is Keith, ZS6 Hotel India. And a very good morning to everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the Sandton Amateur Radio Club Bulletin on this Sunday morning, the 18th of August, 2024. You are listening to the club station of the Sandton Amateur Radio Club, the ZS6STN, which is operated today from the shack of Keith, the ZS6 Hotel India. And that's because we received an apology from Mike ZS6XYZ. He was unable to do it this morning. Also, I am coming through on All-Star this morning. So, well, there will be occasional breaks to make sure that I'm still coming out okay. But I have received an All-Star node, and we are using the All-Star node for the bulletin this morning. So I'm on a little handy-talkie running a low power. This club bulletin is broadcast every Sunday at 08:45 local time on the following frequencies: 145/700 MHz FM in the 2-meter band, 7.115 MHz lower side band in the 40-meter band via the relay from the shack of Knoll, ZR6 Delta X-ray, and on Echolink ZS6STN-R. For those who may miss the bulletin, the recordings are uploaded to the club's YouTube channel on www.youtube.com/@ZS6STN, together with the recordings of the club's Power Hour Tech Talks. The agenda for the bulletin today is the SARL News, Club News, Special Topic of Interest. Let's commence with the SARL Bulletin. The South African Radio League News for Sunday, 18 August 2024. Good morning and welcome to the weekly news bulletin of the South African Radio League, read by Keith, the ZS6 Hotel India, from Fourways in Johannesburg. In the news today, 2 contests this week: Solar Cycle 25 producing record high sunspot numbers, and contest news. Stay tuned for these and other interesting news items. We begin the bulletin with news of a silent key. It is with deep regret that we must announce that the key of Ray Vincent Lambert, ZS6 Romeo Alpha Echo, went silent on Wednesday, 14 August. Ray was one of the founder members of the Sandton Amateur Radio Club and was an active member until ill health limited his mobility. He was an early member of the SARL Hamnet and actively participated in many club contest activities. We extend our condolences to his wife Sharon, family, and friends. You are listening to a news bulletin of the South African Radio League. 2 contests this week. The contest working group invites you to participate in the SARL Wednesday 80-meter club contest and SARL HF CW contest. The third leg of the Wednesday 80-meter club contest runs from 1700 to 1800 UTC on Wednesday, 21 August on phone, CW, and RTTY. The exchange is your name, your club name or abbreviation, and your 4-character grid square, example, Kilo Golf 24. Submit your log sheets by 21:59 UTC on Monday, 26th of August by email to contest@sarl.org.za. Get the rules on page 31 of the 2024 SARL contest manual. And yes, I would certainly like to encourage all Sandtonites to participate in the Wednesday 80-meter club contest on this coming Wednesday. That would be awesome to have our club represented. We are doing reasonably well. I mean, we think we've dropped out of the 3rd place spot on the 40-meter club contest. I think we're probably in 4th place now. But we did come 3rd in the last leg. But I think overall we've dropped a place. Let's get our Sandtonites on the air on Wednesday evening on the 80 meters between 1700 and 1800 UTC if we can, please. The third and final contest in the SARL's Premier Contest Series, the SARL HF CW contest, is on the air from 1400 to 1700 UTC on Sunday, 25 August, with activity on 20, 40 and 80 meters. The exchange is an RST report, and a consecutive serial number starting at 001. Submit your log sheets by 21:59 UTC on Friday, 30 August, by email to contest@sarl.org.za, and you can find all the rules on page 22 of the 2024 contest manual for the rules. The Spring ZS6STN Activity Weekend. This is a fun event to encourage radio amateurs to participate in Summits on the Air program, the SOTA program, and it is open to all radio amateurs. There are some rules. Activators must carry their station, mast, and antenna to the summit and may not operate from a building or a vehicle. Chasers may operate from any station, because remember, activators also need chasers to talk to. Hi. A summit may be activated as often as desired, but an individual activator can only claim points for operation from a particular summit once in any calendar year. Club stations may not take part as activators, chasers, or soft SW listeners. If you have not registered for SOTA, please go to www.sota.org.uk/online-resources. Summits are listed on the database and visually on the mapping project. Alerts and spots are on SOTA Watch, so register to use them. You can participate as an activator of a summit or a chaser of summits. Or you can be both, because I'm registered on the SOTA.org UK site, and you record all your chaser points and you can record all your summit points. I think it's worth mentioning at this point that our own Graham ZS6 Golf Lima has just earned the title of Shack Sloth. I don't know if Graham will be on frequency, but he is now the next South African Shack, which means he has achieved over 1,000 points on chasing various summits around the country, chasing those activators around the country. The Spring Activity Weekend runs from 0:00 on Saturday 14 to 21:59 UTC on Sunday 15 September. You may use all amateur bands and modes. The exchange is an RS or RST or RSQ report and your SOTA reference. Both the activator and chaser will receive a certificate for their participation in the ZS6STN Activity Weekend. And that's a lot of fun. I know that we set up a station last time, and we had a lot of fun during that weekend with stations going on actively throughout the weekend. All participants should log the contacts on the SOTA database at sotadata.org.uk/EN/ as soon as possible after the activity weekend. The ZS6STN team will check the database for the participation awards. And here it is reiterated. Congratulations to Graham, ZS6 Golf Lima, on qualifying as a Shack Sloth on Friday, 18th of August. Graham has obtained 1,000 chaser points in the SOTA program. I think it's also worth mentioning at this point that our own Brandon, ZS6 Lima Zulu, activated Champagne Castle over this last weekend as well. He did a climb up on, I think it was Friday, and he activated it on Saturday, and then he came down back to Champagne Sports Resort on the Saturday afternoon. And he's still, I think he's traveling now from Champagne Sports Resort to the coast, but he activated, let me just get my details correct here, KN002, which is at 3,377 meters above sea level. So very well done to Brandon for activating Champagne Castle. The AMSAT SA Symposium. As the AMSAT SA Symposium original date is a week of the South African National Space Conference at the CSIR, it was decided to move the AMSAT SA Space Symposium to a later date. It will now be held on Saturday, 19 October 2024. It will be a virtual event to allow participation by interested parties from all over South Africa and beyond our borders. The call for papers has been extended to 31 August. A short summary in MS Word should be submitted to admin@amsatsa.org.za. Attending the symposium is free, but pre-registration will be required and will open on 31 August 2024. The theme of the event is Space, the Frontier Towards a Rewarding Technology Pastime. As a reminder, you are listening to a news bulletin of the South African Radio League. The Spectrum and Technology Work Group, the STWG, will meet on Monday 19 August on the WebEx platform at 20:30. The STWG will have two items on the agenda: the discussion of the next generation radio frequency spectrum for economic development policy, which was gazetted on 28 May 2024, Government Gazette 50725. The policy is commonly referred to as the spectrum policy. The objective of the discussion is how to use the policy to its advantage to protect and expand amateur radio. The next item is the second item on the agenda of the STWG, will be the SARL RF noise monitoring project. If you would like to contribute to the discussions, please send your details to admin@amateurradio.org.za by noon on Monday, and you will receive an invitation to join on the conversation. Noise is something that we're all suffering with, I think, certainly in the urban areas. I just had a QSO this morning with Victor Kilo. Let me just get it. I was just going to see my records here. Victor Kilo 5, Kilo India, who is sitting on Kangaroo Island in Australia. It's got a population of 5,000, and he says he's got quite a few hectares there, and he says he's got no noise. Now, wouldn't that be wonderful? Yeah, so the noise discussions, SARL RF noise monitoring project, hope they find some solutions for us. Let's move on to the Solar Cycle 25, producing record high sunspot numbers. And I think Mark, ZS6MDX, has been keeping us posted on the sunspot numbers in the Sandton Amateur Radio WhatsApp group. Thank you, Mark. Record high Solar Cycle 25 solar maximum sunspot numbers have improved HF propagation since mid-July, and possibly bringing worldwide 6-meter F2 propagation this spring in the southern hemisphere and autumn in the northern hemisphere. According to the NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center, Solar Cycle 25 is likely reached its highest sunspot number yet, at least 299 on 8th of August. I think that's an average. I think it's reached higher than 299, but I think that's obviously an average over various areas of the planet. But that conversation that I had with Australia this morning was on 28 megahertz, so the 10-meter band, and it was crystal clear coming in from Australia. The World Data Center, Sunspot Index, and Long-Term Solar Observations publishes near real-time estimated international sunspot number reports based on its global network of reporting stations. Daily EISN reports during Solar Cycle 25 were consistently well below 200 until suddenly rising to 218 on 14 July and reaching 289 on 18 July, but then declined to 178 on 22 July. While occasional brief daily EISN increases are not unusual during solar maximum, after only 5 days, the daily EISN suddenly rose to 212 on 27 July, reaching a Solar Cycle 25 record high of 297 on 8th August, and a prediction of 300 for early September. Daily EISN reports are likely to remain well above 200 during most days through late September and possibly much longer. This bodes very well for the field day, the National Field Day, and we'll get to that in a little bit shortly as well, but the National Field Day is taking place on the 7th and 8th of September, so keep that in mind when you consider the propagation here. Maybe we'll get a lot of DX contacts during National Field Day. Since February 2002, worldwide 6-meter propagation has been mostly limited to sporadic occurrences of trans-equatorial propagation near the equinox months and occasional sporadic sea propagation reaching many thousands of kilometers during June and July. Worldwide 6-meter F2 propagation may occur again, perhaps very frequently, starting in late October 2024 if daily EISN reports consistently remain well above 200. Do visit www.sidco/SILSO/EISN plot for additional information. Moving on to contest news. 33 logs were received for the third leg of the SARL Saturday 40-meter club contest held on 27 July 2024. The club results were as follows. First was the West Rand Arc with 1,163 points. You've got to give these guys credit. They really put out a lot of people on when it comes to the club contests, and they obviously then rack in the points because well done to the West Rand Arc. Second was the Northern Cape Arc with 392 points. Look at that gap, guys. 392 to 1,163. And well done to the Northern Cape Arc for coming second. And third place was our own Sandton Amateur Radio Club with 188 points. So I think this contest is really the number of logs that you can submit and the points that you can get for each of those logs. And that's what pushes you into the first, second, or third bracket. So the individual results, first was Quibus, ZS6 Bravo Oscar Sierra with 137 points. Second was Herod, ZS3 Tango Golf with 132 points. And third was Patrick, Zulu Romeo 6 Papa Echo with 102 points. I do know that we had our triangulation challenge on the 40-meter club contest day, and we had various operators running 40 meters. So obviously we shared the points between one another, and so maybe that's the reason that we are now sitting in fourth place overall. That became third in that leg. First place overall is the West Rand Arc with 3,041 points. Second place overall is the Northern Cape Arc with 1,357 points. And finally, third place, the Bloemfontein Arc with 604 points. I don't see that the Sandton Amateur Radio Club points, but I will get that from Dennis shortly. Moving on to the propagation report. Hannes Kutsia, ZS6 Bravo Zulu Papa, reports that the solar activity is expected to be at low to moderate levels. There are currently 9 sunspot regions with simple to slightly complex magnetic configurations visible. There is a high probability for C-class solar flares and a moderate probability for M-class solar flares. If you want to do your own frequency predictions, the expected effective sunspot number for the week will be around 154. The 10 to 20 meter bands will, especially in the late afternoon and early evening, provide some good DX fun. The 6 meter band may also hold some very pleasant surprises, like I got this morning with 2 contacts into Australia. It sounded like they were sitting right next to me during those contacts. They were running 3-element Yagis on 400 watts, so that does make a difference, but I made a good contact with them on 100 watts, so can easily be done. Please visit the website spaceweather.sansa.org.za for further information. Finally, here is a diary of some upcoming events. Today and yesterday, the International Lighthouse and Lightship Weekend. So there's still an opportunity to get those lighthouses into your logbook. I've been trying a little bit since yesterday afternoon, and I've managed to get 6 lighthouses into the book. I think there are about 18 registered lighthouses in and around South Africa. I'm not sure how many are participating, but I've managed to get 6 into the logbook. So you guys might be doing better than me on those ones. And I think Brandon in the Drakensberg, he might have a more central location getting those lighthouses into the logbook. I hope he's managing. On 21 August is the SARL Wednesday 80-meter club contest that we've just spoken about. On 25th of August is the SARL HF CW contest. And guys, you can participate even if you don't know CW. It takes a little bit of a technical savvy to get programs like FL Digi running, and to decode what FL Digi is giving to you, but you can play CW. And then on the 26th of August is the closing date for the club logs. On the 28th of August is the Sandton Power Hour Tech Talk. On the 30th of August is the closing date for the HFCW logs. And you must remember that on the 31st of August is the West Rand Amateur Radio Club boot sale and social event. So that's something else to put in your diary. Get out to the West Rand Clubhouse on the 31st of August and participate in their boot sale and social event. To conclude the SARL Bulletin, recap of the SARL main news story. The contest working group invites you to participate in the SARL Wednesday 80-meter club contest on Wednesday 21 August and the SARL HFCW contest on Sunday 25 August. This concludes the SARL Bulletin for this morning. You have listened to an SARL News Bulletin compiled by Kevin Berger, ZR2 Bravo Kilo, proofread by Herman Erasmus, ZS6STN, and read by Keith, ZS6HI. But don't go away, because now we're going to get to the Sandton Amateur Radio Club news, so stay tuned. Okay, let's just go through some of the activities, and I will call in others to also contribute to the Sandton news. But as you heard, today is Lighthouse Weekend, so grab a few lighthouses for your logbook. Then, I have mentioned it before, but we are planning to hold the annual general meeting, the club's annual general meeting on the 28th of September, Saturday afternoon. We want to try and use the venue that we've been offered in Bryanston, so I have reached out to Carly. I'm still waiting for a confirmation, but we can probably, she's indicated to me that we can use the venue from about 1 o'clock on the Saturday, the 28th of September onwards. So let's please diarize the 28th of September from 1 o'clock onwards in Bryanston, and we will hold our annual general meeting and social event at that time. Then you've heard that the Sandton Power Hour is taking place on the 28th of August. We're still trying to line up and confirm the speaker for that Sandton Power Hour, but it's bound to be great, so please diarize that one. The West Rand boot sale and on the 31st of August. Please be there. It's an awesome event, and it's where we meet each other in face-to-face, which is quite nice too. And members from all over come to that session. So it's not only the Sandton Club, it's West Rand Club, and we have members coming over from all the other clubs as well. Most importantly, the 80-meter club contest on the 21st of August. You've heard all about it, but please fire up your radios on Wednesday evening and make some contacts. It's at 7 o'clock in the evening, 7 o'clock in the evening on Wednesday evening. Then just some news from the committee. We spoke about putting up a 4-stack VHF antenna array at the high site. Well, that is on track at the moment. The committee have approved the implementation of the 4-stack antenna. We also have been offered a 4-stack from Greg, ZS6GL, so we need to just collect that from his from the Val Dam, where it is sitting in a garage over the weekend of the 21st and 22nd of September. And if that 4-stack does the job, then it will be great. We will have implemented a 4-stack at minimal cost. Otherwise, we have authorized the purchase of a 4-stack to install on our high site at the Bryanston Water Tower. Most importantly, and what has not been mentioned in the bulletin, is the National Field Day. So National Field Day takes place on the 7th and 8th of September. So that's the first weekend in September, 7th and 8th, where most of the team will go out there on the Friday evening, the 6th of September, and we will camp overnight at the Sleepy River Caravan Park on that Friday evening. We will set up the antennas on the Saturday morning, because the contest starts at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then we will start playing radio from 10 o'clock onwards. It's an awesome event just to get out there to the Sleepy River Caravan Park. You don't even have to camp if you don't wish to. Just come out for the day. On the best day is the Saturday, the 7th of September, to come out and have some fun at the contest station. We'll also see if we can't arrange one or other 2 activities on the day as well. But it will have a braai. If we get sufficient people, we'll have an afternoon braai, and you're most welcome to join us for that. It's also a family venue, so get your families out there as well. And that's National Field Day, which will be taking place on the 7th and 8th of September out at the Sleepy River Caravan Park. And that's in the Magaliesberg Mountains. You heard about ZS6STN weekend. That's also another really fun activity. So if you want to activate a peak, or you would like to activate a peak, but you don't know how to do that, just put your name and your interest in the WhatsApp group, and I'm sure one of the guys who've been activating peaks around the country, or even just locally, will get in contact with you and support and help you. You can join them on an expedition. I know that some of us, 4 of us, went up and activated a SOTA peak in the cradle of humankind the other day, and then I know that Graham, Robert and myself activated one of the mine dunes in Kempton Park, which was also a lot of fun. And there's just near Heidelberg, there's some SOTA sites out there. So do consider activating and joining making maybe a team to do that. Or alternatively, just switch on your radio and chase those guys who are activating. You can become a shack sloth, just like Graham. Well done, Graham. And I have mentioned it briefly, but Brandon, ZS6 Lima Zulu, hiked up Champagne Castle and activated Kilo November 002. It's a SOTA peak in the Drakensberg, Champagne Castle, at 3,377 meters above sea level over the last day or so. And have a look at some of the pictures. He's posted them in the WhatsApp group, and you can see that he was flying the the Sandton Amateur Radio Club flag while he was up there. And if you have a look at those streams, they are all iced over. So well done to Brandon on that activation as well. I haven't quite got the club birthdays going, so we will move to club birthdays after we've had the call-ins, just so that I can open up the club birthdays. My apologies for that. But I think it's now time to move on to, there's some other news, and that's before I move on to the article of interest, we must talk about the high site. So Dave, ZS6DAV, and Justin, ZS6JGP, have been implementing the All-Star network, and that's what I'm transmitting on right now. I'm using a little handy talkie on 1 watt, transmitting to my node, which is local in my house, and that node is then going on to the internet backbone through to the repeater site, or to the server, the All-Star server, and then joining on to the repeater from there. And the Kempton Park repeater is also joined to the All-Star network. I know that Justin and Dave are also working on the Mariskop, joining that to the All-Star network, and I'm sure we've got Stuart, ZR1 Whiskey Tango, down in George, listening on the All-Star network. And if you go to the ZANet site as well, let me just get that for you. It's za-net.org.za. Go and have a look at that site, za-net.org.za, and you'll see all the work that they are doing on the ZANet All-Star network. So very congratulations to Dave and Justin for all the energy they're putting into that one. I know they were testing with Chris and ZS6 Golf Mike this morning. On to the article of interest. How many of you have heard of NASA's Roman Space Telescope? Well, I know about some of the telescopes that are out there, but this one is called the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope. So I'm going to read a little bit of an article on this particular space telescope and what it is expected to do and how it is different to the current telescopes that we have in orbit, like the Hubble Space Telescope. This space telescope will pair space-based observations with a broad field of view to unveil the dynamic cosmos in ways that have never been seen before. Roman will work in tandem with NASA observatories such as the James Webb Space Telescope and the Chandra X-ray observatory, which are designed to zoom in on rare, transient objects once they've been identified, but seldom ever discover them. Roman's much larger field of view will reveal many such objects that were previously unknown, and since we've never had an observatory like it out there, so Roman's much larger field of view will reveal many such objects that were previously unknown. And since we've never had an observatory like this scanning the cosmos before, we could even find entirely new classes of objects and events. The mission's high-latitude time domain survey is well designed to discover a particular type of exploding star that astronomers can use to trace the evolution of the universe and probe possible explanations for its accelerated expansion. And since this survey will repeatedly observe the same large vista of space, scientists will also see sporadic events like stellar corpses colliding and stars being swept into black holes. The survey will look beyond our galaxy to observe the same patch of sky approximately every 5 days for 2 years. Stitching these observations together like stop-motion animation will create movies that will reveal a wealth of transient events. Astronomers will hunt through all this data for a special kind of exploding star called a Type 1a supernova. These phenomena originate from certain binary star systems that contain at least one white dwarf, which is a small hot core remnant of a sun-like star. In some cases, the dwarf may siphon material from its companion. This triggers a runaway nuclear reaction that ultimately detonates the thief. Astronomers have also found evidence supporting another scenario involving two white dwarfs that spiral towards each other until they merge. If their combined mass is high enough, they too may produce a Type 1a supernova. That runaway nuclear reaction that ultimately detonates the thief might be quite a good thing to implement, don't you think? I'm just kidding. Somebody did manage to steal one of my solar panels the other day, so it's top of mind for me at the moment. Let's move on. Since these explosions each peak at a similar known intrinsic brightness, astronomers can use them to determine how far away they are by simply measuring how bright they appear. Astronomers will use Roman to study the spectrum of light from these supernova to find out how rapidly they appear to be moving away from us due to the expansion of space. By comparing how fast Type 1a supernova at different distances are receding, scientists will trace cosmic expansion over time. This will help us understand whether and how dark energy, the unexplained pressure thought to be speeding up the universe's expansion, has changed throughout time. Using these and other Roman measurements should also help clear up mismatched measurements of the Hubble constant, which is of the universe's current expansion rate. Roman will paint a more vivid picture of our universe's past and present, giving us new clues about its possible fate. Its findings could reshape our understanding of the cosmos. Because of the way the survey will observe the cosmos, it will also spot other rare phenomena. Through Roman, we will witness the birth of new black holes that form when neutron stars, the cause of exploding stars that weren't quite massive enough to form black holes on their own, merge. These titanic events create ripples in the fabric of space-time and brilliant kilonova explosions. The mission is also expected to reveal several dozen tidal disruption events, which happen when a star venturing too close to a black hole is shredded by the black hole's extreme gravity. The stellar shrapnel generates a huge amount of light as it speeds towards the black hole. Roman will pick up these flares of energy to learn how black holes affect their surroundings. The survey will also allow astronomers to explore variable objects like active galaxies whose cores each host an extremely bright quasar. A quasar is a brilliant beacon of intense light powered by a supermassive black hole. The black hole voraciously feeds on infalling matter that unleashes a torrent of radiation. Roman's steady gaze will help astronomers study how and why these outbursts fluctuate in brightness. 500 of Roman will also allow to probe the period of reionization. During this cosmic epoch, scientists think intense ultraviolet light from quasars stripped electrons from atoms and turned them into ions. This transition ushered in cosmic dawn as the universe went from being mostly opaque to being transparent, allowing visible and ultralight to travel freely. This Roman survey will provide a treasure trove of data for astronomers to comb through, enabling more open-ended cosmic exploration than is typically possible. The Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope is managed at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland, with participation by NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory and Caltech IPAC in Southern California. The Space Telescope Science Institute in Baltimore and a science team comprising scientists from various research institutions. And if you think this is all pie in the sky, let me just move on to a quick news broadcast as well. The primary instrument for NASA's Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope is a sophisticated camera that will survey the cosmos from the outskirts of our solar system all the way out to the edge of the observable universe. It is called the Wide Field Instrument, and it has just been delivered to the agency's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. The camera's large field of view, sharp resolution, and sensitivity from visible to near-infrared wavelengths will give Roman a deep panoramic view of the scanning much larger portions of the sky than astronomers can with NASA's Hubble or James Webb Space Telescopes, which will open new avenues of cosmic exploration. Roman is designed to study dark matter, a mysterious cosmic pressure thought to accelerate the universe's expansion. Dark matter, which is invisible matter seen only via its gravitational influence, and exoplanets, worlds beyond our solar system. This instrument will turn signals from space into a new understanding of how our universe works. To achieve its main goals, the mission will precisely measure hundreds of millions of galaxies. That's quite a data set for all scientists and researchers to pull from, so there'll be a flood of results on a vast array of science. Well, I think that's enough on the Roman Space Telescope, but now we're going to have another instrument in space shortly, also looking at history, reading that light from many, many, many years in the past. I think that brings us to the end of the Tech Talk, or article of interest. Okay, that brings us to the end of the Sandton Amateur Radio Club's bulletin for this morning. So thank you to everyone out there for listening in and for your interest and participation. We trust that you have enjoyed the bulletin, and please feel free to contribute ideas, comments, or any constructive criticism to info@ZS6STN.org.za. And as always, thank you to all the stations that assisted with relays and to those who contributed to the content from time to time. Please join us again next Sunday at 8:45 CAT for the regular bulletin of the Sandton Amateur Radio Club. And then in the meantime, have lots of radio fun. And please, guys, do remember the AGM at the end of August. And if you've got any nominations for committee members, for a chair or treasurer or anybody else as well, or you would like to stand as a committee member to take a turn at the helm and get involved, bring your ideas to the fore, please do put your hand up. Just send us nominations on info@ZS6STN.org.za or drop it on the WhatsApp group or personal emails. Thank you very much for that as well. This brings to a close the weekly club bulletin of the Sandton Amateur Radio Club, ZS6 Sierra Tango November, today operated by Keith ZS6HI from Four Ways in Johannesburg. Thank you to all, and 7-3. The ZS6STN now relinquishes all frequencies for general use.